I decided to rank the Assassin's Creed games based on how well you can ghost them. I'll be basing these on the overall ghosting experience and how enjoyable they are for me. I'm gonna try to make the explanation short since there are 13 main games, and if I spend 5 minutes talking about each one, we'll be here for a long while. So yeah, let's start. Assassin's Creed 1. I'm gonna put this in E tier. The reason for this is that you can't complete the assassination missions without getting detected. Like, you can ghost through the missions, but once you get to the actual assassination, you'll get detected after the kill. There's just really no way of going around it, and that instantly breaks one of the key rules in ghosting. Do not get detected. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to put AC1 below here, just because the other games allow for a better ghosting experience. For Assassin's Creed 2, I'm gonna have to put it in D tier. The reason why it's low is because when I replayed the game, I felt like the level design catered more to the casual lethal playstyle. By this I mean the stealth levels are good if you're assassinating enemies. However, if you're ghosting, you'll find yourself needing to kill certain enemies. I mean, there's also this option where you can use the poison blade and follow it up with a punch. This will instantly knock out an enemy, but still, I feel like the level design is just really catered to a more lethal playstyle. Oh, and also, you can't throw smoke bombs in the game. This really limits your ability and options to go through certain areas. Okay, next one is Brotherhood. I'm gonna put this up there in B tier. Brotherhood is like almost the peak of Assassin's Creed stealth. It improved a lot of the mechanics of AC2, and when I replayed the game, I felt like many of the stealth levels were meant to be ghosted. I felt that the people who crafted the levels thought about timing and going through the levels without killing any enemies. Brotherhood also allowed us to throw smoke bombs, which significantly improved the ability to do ghost stealth. And of course, there's the ability to also do stealth knockouts, which is good for situations where you can't really get past enemies. So yeah, Brotherhood is a good game in terms of ghosting. Actually, in general, it's a great game. It's a great Assassin's Creed game. Revelations. I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Now, hear me out. Revelations is good and has identical mechanics with Brotherhood, and the addition of a lot of bombs like noisemakers, those bombs that spill out blood, and others were a nice touch, especially since they allow for non-lethal playstyle. However, Revelations is below Brotherhood because the game was too short. And because of this, the game didn't really allow the non-lethal mechanics to shine. I felt like there were few missions that you can really stealth through, and so opportunities to use these tools were just not there, or very few, and I may have already forgotten about them. That's why I'm putting Revelations in C tier. Still, I think Revelations stealth is good. It's just that the game is too short and opportunities for ghosting are few. Assassin's Creed 3. I think this is around here at the side of Assassin's Creed 2. Maybe a bit lower but not a tier lower. I say this because Assassin's Creed 3 has ghostable missions, even some main assassination missions. Like, I saw this video, I think it was Treviso Stealth or someone else, who ghosted the Johnson mission. I thought that mission was not ghostable because Johnson was surrounded by enemies. But turns out you can shoot him and it will trigger the memory corridor. And while the game has those moments, I feel like they are very few like in Revelations. Level design wise, I also feel like most levels were meant for the players to be detected. Like, there are missions where you start undetected, but your targets are a group of guards and they are all bundled up together. And even if you sneak up on them and try to use your smoke bomb, you will get detected instantly. Because when an enemy sees a smoke bomb, even if they don't see you throw it, you get detected. And so, in ghosting in Assassin's Creed, smoke bombs are really an essential tool. So if you get detected when you use them, well, that just sucks really. Okay, for Black Flag, I'm gonna put it in C tier, maybe a bit higher than Revelations. This is because Black Flag is actually a somewhat good AC game for ghosting, especially if you're lenient on using knockouts. There's also sleep darts in the game, which I prefer over knockout since they let the enemy go back to the playing field after some time. The only reason why Black Flag is not higher is because of the level design. Because since Black Flag is like the actual first massive open world Assassin's Creed game, most of the levels are set in open areas. And because of this, I feel like the level design is inferior compared to the other better games. In some missions, I also feel like the game wanted you to assassinate or at least get rid of certain enemies patrolling an area so you can remain undetected. So yeah, that's for Black Flag. Next is Rogue, which is basically the same as Black Flag, but I'm gonna put it like a bit higher than Black Flag. So the things that I said about Black Flag is the same for Rogue. But Rogue is slightly higher than Black Flag just because Rogue gives Shay more non-lethal tools that can be used for ghosting. You have noisemakers and even a sleep grenade which you can use to handle enemy groups. And so because of those, I think Rogue is a bit better for ghosting. Okay, Unity. We really have to talk about this one. I'm pretty sure everybody knows where this one belongs to. Okay, let's make this quick. So Unity is in A tier, no doubt about that. And this is because Unity is like the real Assassin's Creed stealth game. Like, if you're going to compare Assassin's Creed with Dishonored, Metal Gear, Hitman, and other stealth games, Unity is the one you should show. Ghosting in Unity is really fun since you have a lot of tools you can use. You have smoke bombs and noisemakers, which lets you move guards and past certain areas. But most importantly, I think, the black box missions and level design is just perfect for ghosting. Now, I don't think that the devs created the levels purely to be ghosted. However, because of the tools and how the levels are designed, ghosting is really viable. There's also the disguise mechanic, which some hate and some like. Me personally, I kind of like it since it's an additional non-lethal tool and allows us to traverse large areas without getting spotted. So yeah, Unity just hits every checkmark for ghosting and also provides a fun experience while doing so. So 100% it's A tier. For Syndicate, while the stealth system is similar to Unity, I have to put this one at high B tier. So why did I do that? Well, everything I said about level design in Unity is almost the same for Syndicate. However, the problem I have with this game is that it has fewer tools for ghosting. You see, the noisemaker disappeared in Syndicate. Technically, the only non-lethal tool you have is the smoke bomb. The voltaic bomb can be considered non-lethal, but when you use it, there's really a high chance of you getting detected. Also, while I did like the kidnap mechanic, I don't really like using it for ghosting, just because to use it, you need to capture a random guard and then knock him out after, which you know may not be necessary. So yeah, in some cases, you may end up having to spam smoke bombs to pass certain areas, since you don't have other tools, which is something I do not like to do when ghosting. Next is Origins. I'm gonna put this guy in E tier, just above Assassin's Creed 1. Now hear me out. There are ghostable missions in Origins, like missions where you have to retrieve items from forts or whatever. Most of those are ghostable. My main problem is when you can't one-hit assassinate an enemy. So imagine you're going through the main mission and you have to assassinate a brute. Is that what you call those guys? Those large guys? Anyway, let's call them brutes. So you have to assassinate a brute and then you realize you can't one-hit assassinate him. So you decide to do a side mission. You wanted to level up a bit and maybe upgrade your hidden blade. Then in that side mission, you also end up not being able to one-hit assassinate the target. So now, you look for another side quest, and so on. You repeat that system, you repeat that until you can assassinate your target. And so this makes the overall ghosting experience just too tedious. And I'm pretty sure there are maybe some cases where even if you're like 5 levels higher, you can still one-hit assassinate an enemy. So yeah, because of that, Origins is E tier. Next is Odyssey. Now I love playing Odyssey, but ghosting in this game is just F tier. Because basically, the thing I said about Origins, Multiply that 100 times for Odyssey. Instead of just upgrading your hidden blade, you have to grind gears with assassin bonuses to make sure you have good assassin damage. And even then, even if you're 5 levels higher and you have decent gear, some enemies will still be unkillable with one stealth hit. For that to work, you'll have to be super high level and have almost perfect bonuses and perks for your gear. And also, in the video where I ghosted Odyssey, the way that I stealth killed my targets there was to use the bow and arrow. I would shoot an arrow from afar and then reposition to make sure I don't get detected. It would take around 3 or sometimes 5 arrows before the target is dead. And that was me at the same level or a bit higher than the target. So yeah, the ghosting experience in Odyssey is just horrible, especially compared to the higher ones in this list. Okay, Valhalla. I love this game. I wanted to put this one in A tier, but I don't think that it's that high. I'm gonna put this in B tier in the middle of Syndicate and Brotherhood. So the reason why Valhalla is high in this list is because many missions in the game are ghostable. Like, I have a lot of videos of me just ghosting through missions, you can check that out. And when I ghosted most of those missions, I rarely used tools. I relied on perfect timing and positioning to ghost them. And this is my favorite way to ghost in any stealth game. This is like the true way to ghost, since you're leaving no track that you were there in the first place. There are also moments in the game where I felt the levels were really made for ghosting, similar to the feeling I had when playing Brotherhood. The reason why Valhalla is not A tier is because of the level design. Similar to Black Flag, since it is a massive open world game, a lot of the missions are in an open area. And since you can climb almost anything in the game, there's like endless possibilities for infiltration and ways to get to an objective. While this may be good in theory, I realized that having certain limitations provide more sense of accomplishment. Because to be honest, while ghosting in Valhalla does require patience and experimentation, there are a few missions where I felt they were just too easy. So yeah, I think Valhalla is a solid mid-B tier. Lastly, Mirage. Okay, Mirage is a decent game to ghost and I'm gonna put it in high B tier. So I think Mirage's level design is actually inferior to Unity, that is why it didn't make the A tier. I mean, we have a lot of non-lethal tools in Mirage, like sleep darts, noisemakers, and the traps. You can even upgrade them, which was cool. And these tools allowed us to ghost past most of the missions. However, I noticed that the level design is similar to AC2, where it catered to lethal stealth. Of course, because we have a lot of tools, there are ways to get past this. And I feel like there is just an over-reliance of tools in Mirage, unlike in Unity and even Valhalla. There's this one area, during the Assassinate Fazil mission, when you get to the secret labyrinth below the library, there's this U-shaped hallway where there's a guard sitting in a spot and there's no other way to get past him unless you kill him or use a smoke bomb. However, at the end of the hall by the next room, there are also 3 guards. I hated this part because I had to reload a lot of times to use the minimal number of tools. Basically, I'm trying to use the noisemaker to make the sitting guard turn around and then use the smoke bomb to blind the 3 guards in the next room. But if you're someone who does not mind much, you can easily get past this part by just spamming smoke bombs as you run through. But yeah, as someone who likes to ghost, the over-reliance of tools for ghosting in Mirage puts it in B tier. Still good, just not the best, I think.